Hi, and welcome to week 7, choosing the right guy. So, I'm hoping that as you've gone through all the couple of weeks, you're going towards the end, got your next week, and that's it, that's left on the lessons. And I'm super proud of you of making sure to go through each lesson consecutively and making sure that you're actually going through a lot of the assignments so that you can truly heal and take those steps to moving forward, receiving the life God has for you. So, in this week, it's all focused about what it's going to look like when it's time for you to start dating. Now, I will suggest that you need to make sure that you truly heal from what you've gone through in your past and what it may be going on with you right now before you start dating. This is really, really imperative because if you do this before you've actually healed, you may still pick guys based off of wounds that you've dealt with, and also you may have a good comment come to your life, but you're not really ready for it because you still haven't healed and you'll push him away. So I will say, before you get to a place where you feel like you're ready to date, make sure you're really in a healed state, whole state, to where you can do that. I think a way to really figure that out is like ask God about it, pray about it, really seek God about, Lord, am I ready to date? Also, if God sends you a nice guy your way during this time, then you may be ready for that. I will always say that healing is a process. I'm not saying that, next year or next month you're healed and that's it. As time goes on, it just takes time, and we're always going to be healing and changing and going through a process. So don't think you have to be perfect before you start dating. Just make sure that you're ready and figure out what that ready is for you. So if you are, though, to a place where you feel like you are ready to date, this is all about how to really make sure you're choosing the right guy this time. In your past, I'm assuming because of the fact of what you have been going through, maybe whatever was your insecurities over the past weeks that you've noticed, or maybe you just never was taught what a good man looks like, you really have to use a lot of discernment when it comes to guys that you allow in your life. Now, when a guy comes into your life, it's going to be all these things that you have in your mind that you desire in a mate, and also you're going to have in your mind the desires that you have for the relationships, which of course is marriage usually for everybody. So if that's the case, though, sometimes we can be blinded by our desires. We can be blinded by maybe something we were used to in the past. We can be blinded by what they look like physically, whatever it may be. We could really get ourselves in situations that we could have avoided if we would have just stopped, taking our time, been patient, and made sure that we choose the right one. Now, I do suggest my book, Single to Married. I go in depth on things that you should be looking for in guys and things that you should be asking so you can really understand the type of guy that you are dating. But it's just to help you out, to give you a little tidbit before you go into your lessons and assignments. You want to make sure that anytime you're going into dating that you stay very, very prayerful. Anytime I started dating anybody, I always ask God to show me what he saw in them, to show me their spirit. The scriptures talk about how we see the outside, we see the flesh, but God sees the heart. If you're wondering this guy's intentions, then all you have to do is ask God to show you. But be prepared for the answer. Sometimes we ask God to show us things, but then we just totally ignore it because we just want a guy in our life so bad. So make sure that you're being very prayerful during this time when you date. Also, you need to make sure that you look for those things that maybe were red flags in the past with other guys that you dated. If you're seeing that you're dating the same type of guy that you dated before, that we've talked about, that you really should not be dating anymore, you need to go ahead and move forward from that person. Don't repeat the same patterns. Let me tell you what the enemy is going to do. Since you are healing, since you are learning more about yourself, he is going to try to distract you with guys who are just like people from your past, or even just try to deceive you thinking that you're healed, you're ready, and he's going to bring you somebody. He's going to totally distract you from the new person that you have become. So you need to be really prayerful and make sure that you're not dating the same type of guys again, because then what will happen is you're going to just go right back into the same cycle, and then you're going to be right back to where you started. The other thing is, make sure that you take your time in dating. There is no need to rush. The scriptures talks about how everything has a time and a season. There's a certain time and season in your life that it's time for you to have a mate, to have a husband, and be ready to have a family if that's God's will for you. But you need to let that time happen on its own. Anytime you try to force something at the wrong time, and when you rush things, it usually eventually comes to disaster, has consequences with it, and some things happen that you could have avoided. Don't rush any type of dating or relationship. Take time to get to know this guy, see who his friends are, see who his family is, see how he is when it comes to his job, his life, his goals. You really need to see how he acts, even as far as when he's coming with his friends and social interactions. You need to see how he is with his family and social interactions. Sometimes as women, we'll date guys and we see them one-on-one, but then we get surprised when situations come up in a relationship and we're wondering, why are they acting like this? Well, if you would have saw them in different situations, whether at work, family, friends, whatever it may be, you wouldn't have been surprised. So make sure that you see them in different lights before you do that. Even with my husband, I noticed how he treated his friends. I also paid attention to the type of friends that he was around. I noticed that most of his friends were either getting married or already married, very mature, good guys, very educated, and they always have really good goals. Well, I knew, okay, if he's hanging out with those type of people, that's the type of person he is as well. You need to pay attention to the flock that he's around. But these are just a couple of things to pay attention to. I asked you to look at some different things as well in the lesson. You need to have a list at least that you are sitting here trying to have in your mind when you're dating a guy. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to have a list like he needs to have 6-packs and he needs to be having 6 figures, all that type of stuff. That's not what I mean. I mean those things that truly matter in the long run. So whether it be you want to make sure he has a relationship with God, you want to make sure that he has a steady job, you want to make sure that he's mature, you want to make sure that he wants to have kids, whatever it is that you want, you need to write that down. You want to do maybe about 10 of them. But whatever your list is, you need to give that to God. I wrote down some of the things that I really wanted in a relationship, in a man, but I also gave over to God. When my husband came into my life, he did have a lot of things that I desired, but he also had a lot of things that I needed and didn't even know that I needed. So whatever it is that you do desire in a mate, make sure to leave that open for God's will, because God knows you better than yourself. But most of all, make sure you are ready before you go into that. A big part of you being able to really choose and pay attention to the right guy is you healing, being prayerful, taking your time, using discernment, and having in mind what you're really looking for in a mate, and also your non-negotiables, the things that you just won't take, things that you just cannot deal with. So I hope this week you learn a little bit more about yourself and what you're looking for in a guy. And once again, make sure that you're healed before you go into this. And I'll see you next week. God bless and have a great day.